Hi there, you guys. I'm Katie Chen, and this is
May Huey.
and we're with two Asian matchmakers. And today we want to talk about dating tips for men and women who are dating overseas, with Hong Kong women, with Japanese women, and women from China. So these are our affiliates that we work with regularly, and they have phenomenal, great, fabulous women coming over who are relationship minded and who might also want to maintain dual homes, or they would relocate. So we work with a lot of men who are interested in dating them. And today we have some really practical tips. We've come up with a list. We know that both parties invest a lot to date, not just in your backyard. So we want you guys to make the most of your date. So we have some really great tips for the women in particular.
So we know the women fly maybe 12, 13, 14 hours to get here. They usually land at LAX, and most likely coming from Asia to the US, they're going to be jet lagged.
Yes.
So the first day when they get here, we don't really have you guys meet any men yet, because we want you to relax, go to your hotel, or when you're staying at your friend's place, just chill, kind of regroup, get some sleep, and then prepare for your next date. Usually the very next day. So what we do want you to do is, if you meet him right away, a lot of the women sometimes do handshakes, which that's okay, but we would like if the women give him a hug or something with a smile, and make sure you show a little bit of affection. I'm not saying give him a kiss or anything on the cheek unless you're comfortable with it. But, like a nice warm hug would kind of break the ice.
Right.
So, sometimes we just want to make sure that you feel comfortable. So I think the guys are also going to give you a hug. It's not nothing sexual to make you uncomfortable or anything like that.
It's almost like they're so excited that you're here because you've made the effort to be here. So it's more of a friendly hug,
Right. So that's one of the tips.
Right.
And you, Kate?
Now, we say when you are sitting down, most of the time it's dinner, and sometimes it could be a drink date because maybe time is limited. But we do say do order some wine, do order some alcohol if your date also drinks. So it makes it more normal. Maybe a lot of Asian women don't normally drink regularly, but it would be nice just to order it so that you guys are bonding. You're on the same page, and so it's awkward when you don't order a drink, obviously, if he's ordering a drink. So it could just kind of tip the bond a little bit. So definitely try to do that.
What if she gets all red from drinking alcohol and stuff?
You don't have to drink the whole glass. You can take a sip, but it's just the gesture. So everything is about gesture, practicality.
Bonding.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. What else?
If you like him on the date, don't forget it's okay to exchange emails, and that way you can keep in touch.
Right.
It's okay to exchange phone numbers, that way you can keep in touch. And now with technology, there's a bunch of apps, there's different ways of communicating, whether it's Facebook or whatever, Twitter or WeChat, WhatsApp, Tango.
Right.
So there's a lot of ways for people to keep in touch afterwards if you like each other.
Yeah, there definitely is. And to keep the sharing going, we always say, do you try to share an appetizer? Do you try to just share a dessert or something like that? So it's just, with dating overseas and with the limited amount of time, a lot of the bonding should be, you should just keep that in mind. Do a lot of practical things during the date to keep things going. So that's something that would be great too.
Oh, and if you like desserts, the woman can also say, oh, would you like to share a dessert with me? I think that's a really sweet gesture, And I know sometimes my boyfriend appreciates it if I serve him with the food. When we're having dinner together, I get a plate for him and stuff like that. So that's always something very nice. Yeah. Or you offer, hey, do you want to try some of my, steak or pork chop or whatever that is? Just to communicate that way. Again, like what Katie was saying, is the sharing. So you're bonding and being together. So,
and one thing probably not to share is that you're here to meet, multiple guys. It just doesn't sound good to a guy, even though he probably thinks, okay, I'm dating other people and probably continue to meet people until it's an exclusive relationship. It just doesn't sound good if you say, oh gosh, I got to go home early because tomorrow I have another date brunch date with some guy and then, oh, I can't see you on Saturday night because I already have another date lined up. It's good to just basically, you're here to meet the right guy, and that's the truth. So he might be one of them, but make sure you're not overpacking your schedule to have no space, like one free day for yourself to regroup or maybe to see a guy a second or third time, so that you can get to know him better too.
So if someone's watching this video, Katie, and they're wondering, well, how long should I be in Los Angeles for? What would you recommend? How long should their trip be out here?
Well, it should be 5 to 7 days, and that means to include a full weekend. So don't come here Monday through, Thursday. That's not so productive because the guys do work. They might be very successful CEOs, or they might be entrepreneurs in control of their own schedule, but they still have to work. They still have to pay attention on the weekday, and that's going to cut into the time that you get to know them. So please come, 5 to 7 days, and make sure there's a full weekend in there.
And also, hopefully the guys aren't asking you, like, how many guys are you meeting, and what are you doing here, and just grilling you, like, how do you know May and Katie, and all that stuff. I mean, that's really private and personal, so if they have a question about our matchmaking services, then they should pick up the phone and ask us, or talk to us. So that's really not something we want you to touch upon. So if they ask you that question, it's okay to say, oh yeah, I'm here to, increase my dating odds, or here to find the right guy, and change the subject. Like, they don't need to be dwelling on the specifics and things like that. So, what else?
And I think it's okay to be honest too about, well, I am a little bit more progressive than the traditional Chinese man, or the Japanese man, or Hong Kong Chinese man. I mean, that's really where you're coming from, and you want to open up more options. Maybe you had some roots here. It's good to dwell on like the commonalities. Like, I went to college here, I worked in the US for a few years. I just moved back because that's where my family is. I'm really relocatable. It's good to drop these types of long-term possibilities, that drop some hints so the guy can picture, oh yeah, you know what? This is so weird that we're on a date and you are flying from, Beijing, but help him understand and paint the picture that there could be a future for the two of you.
And I know all the women who join our holiday program here, or the dating holiday, are open to relocating here. So we know that. So make sure you share that with the guys, because we will not take on a woman overseas if she's not open to relocating here. Our guys are not looking to relocate to China or Japan or to Hong Kong. So we get that. So make sure you talk about that when you're here. So that's a very good point. So what else?
What about getting ready for the dates? I mean, we talked a little bit about how important the limited time and exposure you two really have. You can't say, oh, well, I didn't make that best impression on that first date. I'll just call him up, and schedule a date next week with him. It's not gonna work that way so much, and that's why May was mentioning we want you guys to rest the day that you get in so you're not jet lagged. So the next day, make sure you really have all your makeup and your hair stuff and great clothes so that you can make a great first impression. And we tell the guys the same thing. And I think guys are very excited, in fact, to meet you, because they just are so happy that you've come this way to find love, and they want to show you a good time. So we tell the guys same thing. You need to come to the women closer to their area where they're staying by their friends or their hotel. So we just want to set you both up to make the best impression.
Right. And do agree to go on a second or third date. I know Katie mentioned being in town for 5 to 7 days, and if you're here longer, that's even better. That way you can get to know him for 2 or 3 dates, and you really don't know someone after one date, after 1 hour or 90 minutes. So hopefully you can, if you have time, get to know him better and really try to get a feel for who he is. So, what else?
You've had some funny ones where there's some do not do this on first dates. Like, maybe should they mention to the guy that they really want to have kids, or that, what else should they not do?
First of all, when the women come over and want to meet our great guys, we're screening you, obviously, through your matchmaker. So your matchmaker has already told us if you want kids or not, if you're open to having kids, if you're leaning towards no, all those things. So we wouldn't take you on if we didn't feel like we had guys for you to meet. On the same token, if you really want to have kids, we're going to set you up with someone who really wants to have kids, not someone who's open and who's okay if they don't have kids. Like, we make sure that we screen them for you, because that's obviously why you hired a matchmaker. So we're pretty honest with the guys and say, look, she really wants kids, she wants another kid. If you want to meet her, that is something that is a deal breaker for her. So, you know, because here in the States, it's maybe different than dating in Asia. You know, the guys might get a little weirded out if you're constantly asking him about the kids question. You know, do you want kids? How many do you want? When do you want them? What do you want to name them? Do you want a boy? Do you want a girl? You know, so just be a little relaxed with that and trust your matchmaker to find you a match. So.
Right, because the guy doesn't want to feel like he's just a baby maker, and he's here to fall in love with you and get to know you. So focus on that. But things do speed up with overseas dating, and just let it happen. The first couple of dates, you just need to know that you want to spend time with each other.
And on the same token with that is if the guys are financially stable or if they're homeowners or have a decent salary, of course, otherwise we would not match you with them, because they don't have the disposable income to visit you in Asia or to meet you halfway in Hawaii or anything like that. So we just wanted to be sure that you know that we have screened them, and that you don't need to come up with any of these questions like, how much money do you make? Or how big is your home? How many bedrooms do you have? I don't know. These are just some examples of what people have said that can turn the guys off. Like, they know they're successful and they're open-minded. That's why they are open to meeting someone from overseas. So,
yeah, these are some really, really great practical tips that will hopefully help you make the most out of your time here, which is to hopefully find love, find a meaningful connection. So for more tips like these, please visit us at twoasianmatchmakers.com.
Bye.
Bye.